I don't need a sign. An executive session was held tonight at 6:35. We are now reconvening. Ms. Brake, please call the roll.
Committeeman Britting.
Here.
Committeewoman Gomez.
Here.
Committeewoman Hand.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Present.
Mayor Payne.
Here.
Administrator Ferreira.
Here.
Attorney Bullard.
Thank you.
Here.
Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I would like to request an item be taken out of order. May I have a motion and a second to present the top 10 firefighters proclamation at this time?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Roll call?
Committeeman Britting.
Yes.
Committeewoman Gomez.
Yes.
Committeewoman Hand.
Yes.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Yes.
Mayor Payne.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Is the proclamation done there? Should probably take the readers. Can I have a representative from each of the firehouse, please?
There's one for each firehouse in a folder, and then there's individual ones.
Perfect. Oh my God, we had to do math. Sorry, everybody. We good? Okay. Okay. So this proclamation, whereas the top 10 where the top responders have served as examples in the highest standards of the Hillsborough Township fire stations through their heroism and willingness to help others, and whereas the top 10 responders of Fire Station 36, Flagtown, are Matt DeSico, Ryan Guzzi, Kyle Hudak, Greg, you know what, I'm not going to read it because I don't, yeah, okay. So, whereas the top 10 responders of Firehouse Station 36, 37, 38, and 48, now let it be, therefore be it proclaimed that we, the mayor and the Hillsborough Township Committee, do hereby recognize the top 10 responders of each fire station for their outstanding service to the residents. I'm going to let each of the respective chiefs read off their members who were part of the count.
Hi, Bill Woodruff, top 10 responder, not a chief. Thank you. Stop that. So our top 10 responders were Matt DeSico, Ryan Guzzi, Kyle Hudak, Greg Kane, Zach Larson, John Novak, William Riordan, Santiago Urosa, Ryan Vlatka, and myself, Bill Woodruff.
Vince Patty, Chief from 37 Fire. And our top 10 were Corey Best Paris, Antonio Class, Matt Frankie, Rob Gilday, Nick Nastawa, James Paterno, Joe Patty, Vince Patty, Carl Rawls, and Stephen Strauss.
Matt Hand, Chief, 38 Fire Woods Road. Our top 10 responders are Rob Capadonna, Justine Dow, Christian Fulmino, Hallie Hand, Sean House, Ken Johnson, Vince Lai, Tom Lynch, Chad McCones, Jeff Purley.
Hi, David Gwynn from the Shannock. Our top 10 responders were Richard Bullock, Randy Connington Jr., Randy Connington Sr., Charlie Davis, C.J. Davis, Tanner Gorky, myself, Pete Middleton, Ted Spullock, and Thomas Van Glon.
On behalf of the town, I just want to thank you all for your service and for all of your attendance to these fires, and for all of the members out here that qualify at the top 10 in your respective. Thank you very much for your service to our town. And then we'll get each fire department. firehouse by firehouse, so we're gonna, we'll do you first.
Sure.
If you wanna call up all your top 10 responders. Those who showed up that are, part of this firehouse,
Matt, Bill? Nope.
or that.
I could count them all.
Yeah. Get a little, are you guys part of the, okay.
They're getting ready. Yeah. There, that's nice, thank you.
Thank you so much.
As an auxiliary member, I'm getting in this one.
And she's related to three of us.
I would have hugged you too, Fran.
Best for last.
Thank you.
Straight back and don't get me in trouble with Chris.
And before all the firefighters walk out, everyone here, dig out your fire hydrant, encourage your neighbor to dig out your fire hydrant, help these people out. They're trying to save your property.
Yeah, no, I know. I was just catching my breath. No. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for letting us do that. I promised Chris Winiger that they would be there before 7:45. I think I did pretty good, yeah. Okay. So approval of the minutes, may I have a motion and a second to approve the reorganization meeting minutes of January 6th, 2026, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Tonight, we are changing up the order for reports. So we're going to start off with my comments. So first, for the blizzard, I'd like to start tonight by acknowledging our DPW team. Once again, they worked around the clock, late night, early morning, and throughout the day, keeping our community moving. While we were home, safe and sound, they were on the front lines, making sure that we could all get to work safely this morning. And thank you all so much for all that you do. As the holy month of Ramadan begins, so does the Lenten season. This is a sacred time of reflection, prayer, and community for both religions. This season reminds us of the power of sacrifice and the importance of helping those in need. Ramadan Mubarak. Hillsborough has also been named one of the top 10 safest towns in New Jersey for 2026 by security technology company UFI and Reolink, ranking 10th and 5th respectively. These rankings, which place Hillsborough safer than 84% of the U.S. towns, are based on comprehensive FBI and state crime data, police presence, and emergency service quality. This recognition highlights our commitment to maintaining a secure and protected community for all residents and speaks to our amazing police officers. It's also a great time to be a Raider. I want to extend a huge congratulations to the Hillsborough High School boys swim team. They are the boys state sectional champs for the 6th year in a row, so that's awesome. I also want to give a big shout out to the girls wrestling team who brought home the conference championship title in their very first year as a program. And finally, we would be remiss if we didn't congratulate the girls track and field team who are also state sectional champions. You all make Hillsborough very proud, and we can't wait to see the future holds for you amazing athletes. Last 2 weekends ago, Boy Scout Troop 1776 was working with me on their citizenship in the community badge and stopped by my office. We had 2 sessions all day Saturday. It was a lot of fun and a lot of really good engaging questions. It was pretty impressive to hear. So there was like a 9 to 11-ish, and then like more of a high school aged group. And it was really nice that they even knew who we were and what we do and things like that. So it was nice. It was a good group. We also have the Global Day of Play. I recently attended the Global Day of Play at Amsterdam School. We played Life-Size Sorry, which was incredibly fun, and definitely a big hit with the kids too. So we had a great time. That's all for me. So we're going to start with Deputy Mayor Lapani, please. Nope. Out of order.
Well, I'd like to first off thank Principal Fisher from National School for inviting me. I didn't take any pictures because I didn't want to be on camera, but we had a great time. I played with kindergarten kids and they kicked my butt. That being said, we'll move on to the 250th anniversary. Obviously, we've been talking about this, not only us, but the whole country. The committee met last week to plan activities for a celebratory year. Stay tuned for more information regarding a patriotic house decorating contest. So you can think about how you want to decorate your home. Interactive historic maps, installation of a historic trail marker, and other activities and initiatives which we will reveal as we get closer to those dates. With regards to, and the people have been asking us, the pedestrian bridge on Route 206 that we had to close for safety reasons. Fabrication has begun on the bridge following the contract award last year. Because of the material and construction requirements for this project to take several months, Hillsborough Township will continue to monitor the fabrication process. The Township will provide a further public update as the project nears the installation phase, but to be safe, it's going to still be a couple months away, just as a timeline. Planning Zoning has selected Rehabco Incorporated as the new administrative agent for the local affordable housing program. Applicants for rental and ownership opportunities are now available online, and households must submit a pre-application to be placed on the wait list. Applicants should ensure their contact information is correct, as Rehabco will provide availability notifications via email. My public works section got nixed, but I'll just copy the mayor's statement regarding our great guys that are out there and gals. If they're out there plowing, if you've ever had to do it, it's very taxing. And it's late nights again. It's another weekend away from your families. So please be cognizant of them out there and get your cars off the streets and make their job as easy as possible. And lastly, I'd like to say, I'd like to thank and congratulate all the U.S. athletes that competed in the Olympics. I'm an Olympic nerd. I think it's the greatest thing that you can do to go out there and represent your country in all sports in the right way. And of course, we finished it with a bang with the, you know, I'm a hockey fan, so both the women and the men taking home gold. And I remember 1980 because I'm old and I was there. So very proud moment. You pass along to your children. My daughter was crying about the U.S. winning, and she's 27. So it's a great time to feel good about our athletes. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Committeeman Britting.
And I can just piggyback off that with the Team USA. My boys loved every second of it. And we had some little Olympic games in our house too, which Grayson, our 4-year-old, won all of them. I think Robbie helped him win everything. They helped him win, make him feel good, which is good. All right, so health. Let's start with well water. The health department strongly recommends that residents with potable wells consider testing their water for PFAS. Well owners whose water exceeds drinking water standards may be eligible for free filtration, public water connections, or testing cost reimbursements. Please contact the Health Department directly to learn about these resources and eligibility requirements. They are a very good resource in the Health Department there about this subject. Bird flu. The NJDEP and federal partners are currently monitoring a statewide outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza, HPAI, which has affected birds nationwide since 2022. Residents are asked to report sightings of sick or dead birds, especially in groups of 5 or more, via the Wild Bird Disease Reporting form found on the Health Department webpage, and there will be a link in tomorrow's e-news. So again, the Health Department has a really good website with all the links to all those great resources. Recreation. It is almost spring, even though it doesn't feel like it with all of this snow, and we have more snow coming this week, I think, like an inch. So hopefully we'll make it half an inch. I'll just say it for fun. The boys like it. They like the sled. Registration for 2026 spring programs is now open, featuring new intro to art sessions through the Art Academy of Hillsborough. Popular returning options include basketball skills and drills, STEM, tennis, and adult programming like line dancing and pickleball. Please visit the municipal website for a full listing of all available seasonal activities. And I'll say it again, they also have a fantastic website. Griffin and team is sitting in the audience today, do a fantastic job of making things accessible to the children and to everybody across the town. So it goes from brain to athletes. So it's good stuff. One last thing with recreation, I want to call a shout out to all the young basketball athletes in town, the boys and girls. There's a lot of teams in the playoffs. I have to say my son's in the playoffs right now, and they're having a really good time. So I think Hillsborough sports across the board are really growing for the young athletes across the town. So keep your kids in sports if they can get into it. It's really good for them. Social Services Department, one of the best in the state. Social Services has added an additional senior exercise class to their program. The new class starts at 2 p.m. at the YMCA facility. To register, please contact the Social Services office at 908-369-3880. And the last message here, it's very important for Social Services always make sure to support the local can, which is essentially the food network that we have here, by visiting their website and see what donations are needed, because you may feel that you want to donate something, but on the website they may say we have this time of year, and these are the certain resources that the township residents need. So please visit the website and donate whenever you can. That's all from me. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Committeeman. Committeewoman Gomez, please.
Thank you, Mayor Payne. So first up, dog licenses. To avoid late charges, please make sure to renew your dog licenses before February 28th. Up next, we have the Lewis Bay 2 Scholarship. There are still a couple weeks left to submit for the scholarship to the mayor's office. See tomorrow's e-news for a link to the application. The Economic and Business Development Office will host the 2026 HBA Job Fair this Thursday, February 26th from 10 to 12 at the Hillsborough Municipal Building. This event connects local job seekers with hiring businesses and features an on-site resume support from the Greater Raritan Workshop Development Board. Please see tomorrow's e-news for details on how to register in advance. Up next is Human Resources. Hillsborough is hiring. Please see tomorrow's e-news for a list of available opportunities to join us. Tax assessor. Next. All right. The assessor's 2026 tax list is now available on the tax assessor's webpage. Annual reassessment postcards detailing your new 2026 property value and 2025 tax billing will be mailed to residents in March. Some updates about our library. The Hillsborough branch of the Somerset County Library will close for renovations starting yesterday through March 12th, reopening on March 13th. During this time, residents can pick up holds and museum passes Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and on Sunday, services are suspended. Returns will remain available 24/7 via the rear book drop. Also wanted to add that the adult services supervisor through our library is hosting a book discussion on the first Tuesday of every month at Flounder Brewery. There's no assigned reading and there's no homework. Just bring a book that you've read or currently reading and share it with the group in a casual roundtable discussion. The next one is coming up on Tuesday, March 3rd, 7 to 8 p.m. And it's a relaxed setting where people can just get together in community. Lastly, on Saturday, February 7th, I attended the I Still Have a Dream community event in Somerset, honoring Black History Month and reflecting on the enduring legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream. I'm seen here with Veronica Spruill. She is a Hillsborough resident and artist who specializes in sculptural paintings. And I just wanted to add a little bit as well. I wanted to say thank you to the Township for recognizing Black History Month in our last meeting and for presenting a proclamation to the Black Student Union from our high school. Black History Month is not only a time for us to celebrate and reflect on Black excellence and the countless contributions made throughout our history, it's also a time for us to confront our nation's painful history and recommit ourselves to the ongoing fight for equality and justice. Over the past year, we have seen efforts at the federal level to diminish and erase parts of Black history. These actions have included eliminating diversity, equality, and inclusion initiatives, limiting hundreds of words, including Black, racism, and injustice from government websites, eliminating Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Juneteenth from our national park fee-free days, and removing information about Black and female service members from the Arlington National Cemetery website, among other concerning actions. These developments remind us why Black History Month remains so important. Here locally, I hope we continue to not only honor our shared past, but to ensure that our upcoming 250th anniversary celebrations fully reflect the rich, complex, and diverse history of our entire community. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeewoman Hand.
All right, thank you very much. All right, happy Lunar New Year for those of you celebrating. And again, it's an auspicious year of the horse. Also, Ramadan Mubarak. I'll echo that. And because the Olympics were mentioned, I would like to congratulate all the athletes, regardless of gender. We are proud of all of our American athletes that competed. And we're just very excited whether they won medals or not. Very, very great showing for the U.S. Also from Leadership Somerset, so I was very excited to participate on a panel for Somerset County. They have a leadership program that meets once a month for the entire year. And these are like really incredible people who volunteer to be part of this program and want to give back and be more integrated. So these are folks from all over Somerset County. They had a number of elected officials, and I was very proud to have represented Hillsborough. So that was very nice. Also, the Global Day of Play. I did not take pictures because of the kids involved. I will say that I lost at headbands. It was a harder game than I had anticipated. It's very hard to guess based on the clues but that's okay. We had a good time. And then
They're tricky, those 7-year-olds.
I mean, it was competitive play. I hung in there, but I did okay. Also for the fire district, the Hillsborough Fire District is asking all homeowners to clear out the snow surrounding any of the fire hydrants you heard me mention a couple minutes ago. Please shovel a 3-foot radius around the fire hydrant so first responders can access them. And if it's near your house, you really want to dig it out. God forbid something happen, they need to access the fire hydrant. The last thing you want is them trying to dig it out as a structure is burning. So please do that and encourage any of your neighbors. OEM, Hillsborough Township, again expresses our very deep gratitude to our awesome first responders, Offices of Emergency Management, PSC&G for the tireless work in managing the underground gas fire that was on Millstone River Road. It was an alarming fire. It was a really unprecedented situation. And I just want you to know that the OEM, our OEM coordinator, police, fire, everyone in the town quickly reacted to make sure residents were safe, to make sure structures were safe, and to find a solve for the problem, which they did, which was very exciting. I think folks were back in their house within 24 hours. OEM was also front and center throughout the weekend's blizzard, and we appreciate them for keeping us moving. Police, they are asking please to remove snow from your vehicle prior to driving it on the roads. We want to avoid ice missiles and snow coming off. It can cause accidents. It can cause damage to cars. So please, it can result in a fine as well. So please take a couple minutes. And I know it's hard for those of us that are vertically challenged, but try and get the roof cleaned off. And please, if you're not not busy on March 11th from 4 to 5:30. We have Coloring with the Cops. That will take place, I believe, right here. There will be more information on the e-news tomorrow. It's for pre-K through fourth graders, and looks like there will be pizza, crayons, and cops. That equals fun in any book. So there we go. Thank you, Mayor. Back to you.
Thank you very much. With that, we are going to do a presentation from Sustainable Jersey Gold Star. Davis Coyce will be accepting on behalf of Samantha Ball. Is there a presentation? Yeah. We've
KPMG says.
Yeah.
This is Randy Solomon. How are you?
I see David.
Wait, is there something?
Mayor Payne. Nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah. You do?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
There's only like one of like 8,000 pounds.
Here you go. These are your notes.
Perfect.
Here you go.
Oh, look, we're doing this Madonna style. I love it. Okay. Hillsborough is thrilled to accept the Gold Star in Water from Sustainable Jersey, an accolade that is given to communities that follow the strict requirements and guidelines regarding the preservation and improvement of water quality, quantity, and access for their residents. The Sustainable Hillsborough Steering Committee embarked on a several-year initiative, including the creation of the Municipal Water Story, a narrative combined with community input describing all of the township's drinking water, stormwater, and other forms of water in our community. This Gold Star is Hillsborough's second, with the Gold Star in Health received in 2024. Hillsborough is grateful to the community for their participation in all the efforts regarding these initiatives, and thanks Sustainable Jersey for recognizing the impact of Hillsborough's care and dedication of our natural resources. So here's the cool award. Do you want to?
Yeah, and the executive director for Sustainable Jersey is Randy Solomon. Thank you for being here this evening.
Sure. So Sustainable Jersey is a certification program that recognizes municipalities that are thinking about the future. And I think local governments in general, and in New Jersey in particular, are under a lot of strain. They have tremendous amount of responsibilities, and the capacity that they have, the staff capacity, the tax base, means that they've got to make a lot of choices about what to do. And it's very, very easy for local governments to deal with the things that are in front of them today and not think about and kick the can down the road and not think about addressing longer term issues. So we try to help them think about what those issues are, but it's a voluntary program and it's up to the municipalities to decide that they're going to take those on. So the Gold Star in Water recognizes the fact that they went through a comprehensive process to think about drinking water, stormwater, protecting your natural water bodies, and creating a long-term plan and then taking action to protect those things. And one of the things we heard from Committeeman Britting was a discussion of the fact that you've got a program to support people doing private well testing, which is another part of protecting your water and a part of this program. So there are almost 500 municipalities in New Jersey that participate in Sustainable Jersey. 180 of those have met our standards for becoming Sustainable Jersey certified. There's only 60 of those that are at the highest level of certification, and Hillsborough is one of those 60. And there are only 5 that have achieved one of our gold stars in something, and there's only 1 that has achieved 2 gold stars, and that is Hillsborough. So I just want to say it's a tremendous accomplishment. It's a sign of good government, good leadership from volunteers, excellent capacity and support from the staff. And I just want to say congratulations, and I'm so impressed with what you've achieved.
This work would not be able to have been done without the amazing work of our volunteers. And I just wanted to give everyone a chance to introduce themselves and to pass it down.
Hi, my name is Jenna Hamid.
Hi, Kelly Francisco.
Hi, I'm Phil Rudio.
Hi, I'm Randy Solomon.
So this is just a portion, by the way, of our sustainable group. There's I was a part of it last year, and it's just a really energized, excited team of volunteers, and they all have specialties in the areas of sustainability. So from plant and botany to water and engineering and things like that. So they're all like very equipped to do this, which is why we're really so good at it. We stack the table, so. So thank you.
And Mayor, if I could just say one more thing.
Sure.
Last year's chair was Dr. Kelly Francisco, and I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention, this work would not have been able to get done without the work that she put into this. Dr. Abrupta and also Samantha Ball, who unfortunately could not be here tonight. The entire committee was a part of it, but they were the primary ones that really drove this, and I just wanted to bring that attention.
Yes, absolutely. Agreed. Thank you, everybody. You guys are awesome.
Okay. Take a picture?
Yes. I can't do that.
Sorry.
I wasn't going to just
I learned that.
break it in there. Oh, see. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good to see you. Congratulations. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Thanks, guys. Spike it, Dave.
Please return to your seat. Please return to your seat. Okay, moving on. Now we have some personnel items. So we have 3 personnel resolutions. Is there any, sorry. We'll hear all the comments first. After that, if the committee member would like to vote on any of the personnel items separately, I will give you the opportunity to do so. There's no need to take items separately for the purpose of commenting or questioning. Comments from the dais.
I have a comment. I just want to say congratulations to Jennifer Vincent and Joe. I was able to be part of his interview process, and I wish you much success in your new positions.
Mayor, I just had a couple comments as well. So I just want to welcome Jennifer Jeremiah to the courts as assistant to court administrator. Also, Vincent Pulio for DPW to join as well. And for Joe, who's here this evening, Joe Matern moving up to management position, going through Hillsborough leadership training now and going through the process career development. Also thanking Griffin Dunn as director tonight, supporting him, as well as Tony Riga, his supervisor, and his son for being here this evening. So I know it's an exciting night for Joe, and looking forward to being part of the management team. And he's got a great team right there in Parks. So as the committee said before too, I just want to thank DPW and Parks for each and every, not only the storm here, but every emergency they work through. So they do an awesome job. So thanks.
Any other comments from the dais? Thank you. Welcome. Comments from the floor? Would anyone like to take any of these items separately? Can I have a motion and a second to approve personnel and appointment items 1 through 3?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Britting.
Yes, and welcome.
Committeewoman Gomez.
Yes.
Committeewoman Hand.
Yes, and welcome.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Welcome. Yes.
Mayor Payne.
Congratulations. Welcome. Yes. Okay. Moving to consent agenda. 1 through 14. We're going to hear all the comments first. After that, if any committee member would like to take an item from the consent agenda and separate voting, I will give you the opportunity to do so. There's no need to take items separately for the purpose of commenting or questioning. Are there any comments from the dais on the consent agenda?
I have 2. I just want
Sure.
to recognize. So first, I think it's important for the residents to know that we are keeping up with our rock salt purchases because we need to. There's a lot of salting going on, and thank you to the DPW and everybody else that's been involved. So I'm glad that we are being proactive here and purchasing as needed. think that's very important. That is, I believe, number 3. Taking one step further, number 8, I think this is for the police department, Chief, in the back of the room. I think it's great that we are empowering your organization, your team, with AI and technology. So resolution authorizing the purchase of 2 drones and accessory equipment from terrestrial imaging through the Bergen County Cooperative Contract. I think it's a great opportunity to help empower your team to make sure you keep everybody safe, and I think it's the newest way to do it, and I'm glad to see that we're going in that direction. That's it for me.
I'd also like to echo that on the drones, just for the purpose of the residents, that you understand those drones will be incredibly helpful and time-saving for the residents that we lose every year while hiking in the Sourlands. You know, those woods are very dark, those mountains are very windy, and sooner than later, that dusk turns into nightfall, and inevitably we, misplace someone temporarily. So these drones will be integral in finding them quickly before hypothermia or anything else could happen to them. So it's a great purchase for our town. Anybody else?
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to obviously echo our rock salt and safety precautions with the PD, but also that we're moving forward with some of the things that we had planned last year. One is the police department renovations that are vastly needed for our expanding PD, for our locker room for our female officers, who are very valuable to us, as well as our other ones. And then also the repair of the roof of the library. Since we're having a nice renovation, they're being closed, and redo the carpets, as it's important for us to repair the roof. So those are 2 capitals that we had started last year that I'm happy to see that we're moving forward with.
Anyone else?
Yep. So again, our DPW has managed salt very well. I think you all know in the last storm, other towns were, going through emergencies to access additional salt. Our town had managed it very well. I think we're all hoping that this additional salt does not get used anytime soon. I do love snow, but I think we've all had enough. Regarding number 8, so keep in mind we actually have 4 qualified FAA drone operators. So these drones are for them to be able to use, as we said, not only missing persons, things like that. I don't know if any of you remember, within the past year or 2, one of the mysterious drones had gone down over near Lowe's, and our first
I'm sorry,
responders
just to clarify,
spent hours.
no drone went down.
Okay.
There was a
drone
rumor.
was suspected to have gone down over by Lowe's, and it took hours and hours in the freezing cold for first responders to comb the field. So this would have been a great opportunity to be able to have used a drone to find the drone that never fell, but was sighted. So thank you very much for the clarification. And then the other comment I had was on 13, again, I think if you're looking for a lucrative career, it is definitely an attorney representing Hillsborough. So 13 is we will be paying out, $50,000 in cash. That is a settlement for one of the lawsuits you'll see. And again, in addition to the $50,000, we will be forfeiting $250,000 in profit from the solar farm to be built on that property. So this was an agreement in order to settle the lawsuit. So again, just bringing that up so that the town is aware of what's going on. Because I know this was added, and it's a lot to read in between 5 o'clock and 7:30. So thank you very much.
Anyone else? Comments from the floor? Oh, I'm sorry, Maria. Let me grab that for you.
No, I got it.
Thank you, Sarah. Sorry.
Good evening. Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. I'm also a Hillsborough Township property owner, Block 86, Lot 3, 2155 Camp Lane Road. Some of these were mentioned, but I have some questions on them.
Sure.
Consent number 4, resolution authorizing emergency temporary appropriations prior to adoption of 2026 budget. How many temporary appropriations have there been?
Committeewoman Gomez, would you like to answer as the finance liaison?
This is the only one so far since the adoption of the temporary budget.
I'm sorry, what?
This is the only emergency appropriation we've
Which
filed.
It says here authorizing emergency temporary, well, what is the appropriation? What is the emergency appropriation for?
It's in the amounts you'll see in that form. So you'll see what was appropriated in the temporary budget, and then if there's another amount in the next column that's not zero, that's what the extra appropriations are for.
Can you say what it is? I mean, I know you're saying what, that it's in the paperwork.
For what all the items are, I don't have all that information. Perhaps Mayor Payne can.
As the committee would have indicated, the township at the beginning of the year adopted a temporary appropriations before you adopt the budget, and these are additional line items to add to that to pay current expenses. And as the committee would have indicated, this is the first and only amendment to the original.
So the.
So if you have any further questions,
Emergency temporary appropriation was to.
So our
have
budget
additional
isn't approved
money
yet,
to
Maria?
pay-
Our budget isn't approved yet, so we pay our bills every month, and we'll be doing this every month until the budget is approved. For it's every bill that you can imagine. It's any check that we have to cut, it goes on this, it goes through this way for organization
It's
until the
just-
budget is approved.
It's just, I don't
Every year,
understand why.
yeah.
I don't understand why this is being called emergency appropriations. If these are bills that have to be paid,
That's the
shouldn't this
law.
all be
That's
part of
what
the
it has to be
budget?
called until the budget is finalized.
Okay, number 8, resolution authorizing the purchase of 2 drones and accessory equipment
Mm-hmm.
from terrestrial imaging through the Bergen County Cooperative Contract Number 25-42.
Yep.
What is the price of the drones?
It was a grant.
It's a grant?
It
From-
is.
From where?
You just read it. It's a
From-
grant,
From the Bergen County Cooperative?
correct.
Okay, so the drones and the accessory equipment are grants, so there's no,
Outlay from the community, outlay from Hillsborough.
okay, well, but this is being, it says resolution authorizing the purchase of, how is it? a
Correct.
purchase if it's a
Because we get
grant?
the grant money, and then we're using that grant money to purchase the drones.
And so how much was the grant?
Offhand, do you have that number?
It's probably in the actual resolution.
Thank you. It's a $5,000 grant, and the balance was paid through donation.
5,000 grant and 1,000 through donations?
And the balance was paid through
And the balance
donation.
through
Was it-
donations.
Yes.
$20,000 donation and a $5,000 grant totaling $25,000, and the purchase is $24,999.91. So that those 2 items are paying for the drones. So somebody donated $20,000 to the police department, to the, I believe directly to the PBA, benefiting the police department, and then there's a $5,000 grant. Is that what you're asking? Okay.
And is there any information as to who gave the donations?
No,
Because
it was
you're
an
talking-
anonymous donation.
If it's 25,000 for the drone, so 5,000 is the grant, so 20,000 is donations.
Correct.
But you don't have
It's
information
anonymous.
as to who donated?
It's anonymous. Well, yeah, it came through the PBA. There you go.
Resolution 13, authorizing the execution of a settlement agreement and general release in Donald J. Volkert et al. Versus Township of Hillsborough. What was this litigation about?
Committeewoman Hand, would you like to reinstate that?
Can we talk about that?
I would say if somebody's going to answer that, it should be the attorney. I would defer.
Okay, actually, I know about it, but I was not involved. This was handled by Eric Bernstein. It was a matter regarding Hillsborough Properties and the purchase of the GSA site. There was litigation regarding that particular purchase. The township teamed up with the Somerset County Improvement Authority for the purchase of that property. I forget the exact total price, but there was a dispute between the parties as far as when his payments were due under that agreement. And then there was a lawsuit about when payments should have been made, and that lawsuit is now being settled as a result of the settlement agreement.
That was the GSA in regard to the GSA property?
Yes.
Where is that located?
Up by Mountain View, is that, because I know
East
there's
Mountain.
different, I know there's
It's
different GSA
adjacent
properties.
to
but this-
Mountain View
Near
Park.
Iron Peak.
Yeah.
Okay, and so how much, once again, how much is Hillsborough having to pay? In this?
According to my review of the settlement agreement, there's a $50,000 payment from Hillsborough. There's a $50,000 payment from the Somerset County Improvement Authority. My understanding is there's a $150,000 payment from the solar provider who agreed to kick into the settlement. And then the first $250,000 in lease payments that would have been made to the township will be made to the plaintiff.
Okay, and who was the attorney who represented Hillsborough?
Eric Bernstein.
That was actually Brian Hack.
Brian Hack.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry,
Eric
who?
Bernstein's office.
Mr. Hack, which is part of Mr. Bernstein's office, but it was Brian Hack.
Brian Hack, and he's from the same law firm as Attorney Willard.
Correct. And I was
No.
also-
No, Eric
Not correct.
Bernstein.
No, I thought you said it from the law firm of Mr. Bernstein.
No, she
Yeah,
said
he's
my
from
office.
Mr. Bernstein's law firm, not Mr. Willard.
Attorney Hack is from the law firm of
Bernstein.
Eric Bernstein,
Correct.
who was the
Correct.
planning board attorney. for
Correct.
Hillsborough.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments from the floor? Okay. Seeing none, would anyone like to take any of the items separately?
I make, well, it doesn't have to be a motion. I would like to take number 4 separately.
Anyone else? Can I have a motion for numbers 1 through 3, 5 through 14?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Committeeman Britting?
Yes.
Committeewoman Gomez?
Yes.
Committeewoman Hand?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor LaPlante?
Yes.
Mayor Payne?
Yes. Can I have a motion and a second for consent agenda 4?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call?
Committeeman Britting?
Yes.
Committeewoman Gomez?
No.
Committeewoman Hand?
No.
Deputy Mayor LaPlante?
Yes.
Just so the township committee's aware, I believe that required a 2/3 vote, so you're going to have to notify the CFO. He's not going to be able to pay certain bills.
Okay.
Mayor Payne?
Yes.
Just so the committee knows that that could be an issue with having things shut off. Those are our bills that keep the township running.
Never seen anything, yeah. Okay.
So I would like to clarify that the township is able to put 35% of our budget forward, and that is supposed to get us through April. So we shouldn't have emergency appropriations. So you would take 35% of, what you think, 35% of your budget for the year, what's going to be due. I think that's how you would manage your household, right? And be able to pay the bills.
Do you want to speak?
So we've already passed, I believe, $13 million. This was going to be another 5.389, taking us up to 18.3, which is almost 50% of the budget. So it is February 24th. Not sure why we would account for 50% of our budget already being appropriated. So I wish the CFO was here. Not that this is his fault by any means, but unless Mayor or Administrator Ferreira could represent the information for us.
Just for fact checking, our budget is about $47 million, so certainly not half. Committeewoman,
But this was,
Deputy Mayor
this was
LaPlante.
off of last year.
Excuse me. Since we didn't want to go line item by line item, but there were certain things that we could not put in the budget, estimate budget, till we got the numbers. And the two biggest ones are pensions, the PERS and the PFRS, which is about $5 million worth of payments that we had to pay out. So the rest of it is the total is $5,389,987. So of that amount, over most of it is those two line items that we did not know of until after we could do the budget when those numbers come in. So I think it's disingenuous to vote no on something that was a known entity that was coming. It's not a surprise. It's the same thing every year. I'll give Ms. Gomez a pass because, again, she's been here long enough to get 2 paychecks. But the point of the matter is that it happens every year because you don't have that number when you have going to the rollover of the year. Plus, we've also had, if you haven't, I think we've talked about it, about 5 snowstorms over the year. So our payroll has gone up significantly because each snowstorm, for the edification of the public, costs us about $80,000. So you want to do the math, you can't budget more than you think you had in the year prior. We buy salt, and I don't think anyone complains when we plow the road, so unless you don't want the roads paved, so evidently my two colleagues don't want the roads paved, and they don't want the DPW out there to work over $380,000. So shame on them. I believe this is a complete political ploy, and I'll let them answer their own questions to the people in this building when it comes.
Okay, public hearings, 2026-1. Ordinance amending Chapter 188, Land Use and Development, Article 1, Title, Purpose of Definitions, Section 188-3, Words and Terms Defined, and Article 5, Districts and Standards, Section 188-106, 1-1, 1-2, and 1-3, Light Industrial Districts. Is that I? I'm sorry. Thank you. I was like, is it Roman and a numeral? I'm sorry, folks. So I-1, I-2, and I-3 light industrial districts for the code of the Township of Hillsborough, Somerset, New Jersey, Somerset County, New Jersey. The ordinance, may I have a motion and a second to open the public hearing for ordinance 2026-1?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Are you abstaining?
No, aye.
Oh, you said aye. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't call
Okay.
roll.
I said all in favor. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any discussion from the dais? Any discussion from the floor? Come forward. Maria, you got beat. Sorry.
Too slow.
Hi.
Thomas Rodriguez, 18 Grouse Road, Hillsborough. Okay, this is the ordinance for 2026-01, right?
Correct.
Okay. I'm just going to read the previous ordinance. Hillsborough Township Committee, in an effort to maintain the goals of the master plan and to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of its residents, introduced ordinance 2023-08. The ordinance removes warehousing and shipping and receiving facilities as a principal permitted use in the I-1, I-2, I think it's L or I?
It's I did the same
Yeah.
thing. Thank you.
I-1, I-2, and I-3 light industrial districts, GI general industrial districts, and LI light industrial districts. The committee concluded that although such warehouses generate economic activity, including jobs and ratables, it would be at the expense of the public good and would have a negative impact on the community. The ordinance recognizes that any benefits from such facilities would be outweighed by noise, truck traffic, and air pollution. Warehouses have been a hot topic at many board meetings as many residents vehemently oppose the construction of warehouses, especially in or near heavily residential areas. The committee recognizes residents' rights to quiet enjoyment and to maintain the natural landscape of the community. This proposed ordinance, along with proposed ordinance 2023-09, demonstrates the committee's objective to maintain a desirable community and to lead Hillsborough forward in a manner that is consistent with the master plan. Now, this is the ordinance that is being replaced. just for the record. Now, according to CBS News report, back in 2016, we had a massive fire at which is now, I think, the what's it called? The mid-something logistics, where the Veterans Industrial Park was.
Correct.
Burned for more than 24 hours. So that was a big deal. In addition, before that, there was mercury stored at that industrial park. That was which was the nation's largest stockpile.
Correct.
So with this new ordinance, I have some questions. First of all, we do not want any hazardous chemicals or industries in our neighborhood. The letter sent to its residents about this ordinance change include residents within 200 feet of proposed properties. Also, our roads are already choked with 18-wheelers on single-lane back roads. And how does the town ensure that no additional 18-wheelers will be added? Also, we do not want any ICE facilities anywhere in our town. They have already demonstrated unlawfulness and unconstitutional actions against people in our area and other areas of the nation. Also, we do not need any data centers here in Hillsborough. They can be any size, up to, there's no limitation to them. They use critical utilities such as electric and gas. Our utility bills are already higher, and our groundwater is filled with PFAS. I mean, we use a well myself. I had it tested. And I know all the neighbors around Falcon, Sunnymead, etc. I think their PFAS were pretty high over there. Let's see. Residents depend on clean, unpolluted groundwater for consumption and use, which is currently being impacted by industrial and residential construction. And lastly, why is this ordinance being changed, and how does this ordinance benefit the surrounding residents as well as the quality of life to this town versus the old ordinance?
Perfect.
Thank you.
David Coyce, do you want to add on that?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to bring some things to everyone's attention. This proposed ordinance does not permit data centers in the I-1, I-2, I-3. I wanted to clarify that the use that is being considered by the Township Committee is called small-scale storage and distribution. It's a use of no more than 25,000 square feet of gross floor area per building that is principally used for the storage of goods and materials with limited frequency of pickup and delivery completely within an enclosed building. Such facilities are characterized by low daily trip generation, infrequent truck traffic, and the absence of continuous shipping, receiving, or order fulfillment activities. Trailer parking other than at the loading dock is prohibited. This ordinance was designed as an answer to the prior ordinance that essentially made all warehousing as a principal use prohibited. The reality of that ordinance is that we have several of these buildings that have then become non-conforming uses. As the Township Committee took action with the LI, Light Industrial District, not to be confused with the I-1, I-2, I-3 Light Industrial District, that was associated with a settlement agreement with Larkin in that neighborhood of town. That use is a more intense and larger use than what's being permitted potentially by action of this Township Committee in the I-1, I-2, I-3. What this is trying to do is to try to make those buildings and those uses that are going on in those places to make them permitted so that they can continue. Ratables are certainly an important part of a town's function, and by having less non-conforming structures and uses is actually a benefit to the town, because if something were to happen and those buildings were to be destroyed, or if different tenants were to leave and they would try to get additional tenants, they may have to go to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for approvals, which is an additional hurdle.
Mayor, as you know, the township adopted ordinance 2023-08. The reason the township adopted ordinance 2023-08 was to avoid the proliferation of large-scale warehouses. It was happening throughout the state of New Jersey and other parts of the country. In particular, right after COVID, there was a large demand for warehousing. As everybody knows, retail is dying, and it's changed over to online. And based upon these online orderings, more and more warehousing demand took place because people want that last mile, right? People nowadays, you can order something and maybe you get it that day. That's because these warehouse facilities are located closer to the residents now. In particular, so this ordinance was originally adopted to remove these large-scale warehouses, and that continues to be the case. This particular ordinance, though, we asked the planner because we did receive a number of lawsuits involving the township's adoption of that ordinance removing large-scale warehouses. We've received a number of challenges to that ordinance, and in particular, we received two particular challenges. One was from Larkin and his properties, and another was from this particular property owner, Hillsborough Industrial. And what they were saying is, we're not looking to build large-scale warehouses. We have existing operations going on right now. All we're trying to do is keep doing what we're doing. And we had our planner take a look at what was going on in this particular zone, in the I-2 zone, and looking at it, he came up with this definition of these small-scale facilities, which is only 25,000 square feet. Again, we're not talking about permitting large-scale warehousing. And so we've added a definition for that to address that particular use and also the manufacturing that was currently going on in that zone. And so all this particular ordinance does is takes a look at what was going on in that zone and permits it, and it settles that particular case that the township did enter into a settlement agreement.
More importantly, if, to your point, there was a fire or mass destruction of that area, David, then they would not be able to rebuild something bigger than that zone permits. So this was a limiting ordinance.
Well, again, how does this benefit the residents that are within 200 feet of these properties? And also, it's been stated in the news also that there's been battery storages of lithium batteries now. They're making battery locations basically as backup storage. Mm-hmm. And if they catch fire, that's like it's going to be like the industrial warehouses fire that we had back in 2016. So again, how does this benefit the residents from the old ordinance?
So if you're right now living within 200 feet of an existing warehouse structure, light industrial structure, you know it will never be bigger than it is today, first. Secondly, we do not have ion storage in our town.
It may require bigger facilities,
Much bigger facilities.
which they can't do.
Okay, and how do we know what's being stored at these facilities right now?
Well, we do. I mean, we have records of what each building
Are
is
they
like
public?
manufacturing. I don't know that they're public.
I know that both health and fire do inspections
Yeah.
as well. We can go in there anytime we want in health and fire, and they
Are they
do.
public was the question though.
That I don't know. I
Yeah.
have to check with fire.
All right. If you could let me know or let us know.
Sure.
And Mayor, if I could just add
Yeah, of
another fact to this. The planning board took action on February 5th because what happened when this township committee introduced the ordinance, it needed to be referred back to the planning board. And on February 5th, the planning board found that this ordinance is consistent with the master plan. And so I just wanted to point to something that I had included in my memo before that had helped advise the planning board. These provisions are also consistent. And just let me provide some clarification. What this ordinance was also attempting to do was to have basically some guidelines in there to try to prevent someone from making one of these uses even more intense, or trying to bring in tractor trailers and to try to address a lot of the things that you're bringing up. These provisions are also consistent with the master plan's longstanding objective of ensuring that the scale and intensity of development is appropriate to its context, and that non-residential uses are designed and operated in a manner that minimize adverse impacts on surrounding residential neighborhoods. And there was a lot of care and thought put into how this ordinance was being designed. In addition to that, the township, through its land use code, already has performance standards. We have performance standards in there that when we look at zoning permits that are potentially going to be issued, we have to make sure that whatever they're storing there, that it meets the base standard of the performance standards. Plus, we have additional people that are looking at these things. We have annual fire inspections that are going in there. There's also COs that have to be issued from the building department. And in some situations, there might be state authorities that have to get involved depending on potentially what is being made there or stored there potentially. So there are the typical safeguards that are there.
Okay, do they have the possibility of implementing any kind of like ICE facilities or data centers there?
They're not large enough. That's the point.
25,000 square feet is pretty big.
Not really.
When they want data centers, we're talking hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
What about ICE facilities?
way too small.
I don't know what ICE wants or doesn't want.
Yeah.
This is an industrial zone.
Right.
It's not for.
We don't have that, yeah.
Okay.
So, sir, I understand your concerns. You obviously appears you live within 200 feet. So I would say if you are against what's going on in that zone right now, then understandably you would be against this ordinance, but this ordinance is just to maintain what's happening in that zone right now.
Okay. All right.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other You can just say your name.
Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. I received through regular mail and certified mail a copy of this ordinance. My Hillsborough property is on Camp Lane Road. Is there a reason why I would receive something in regard to this ordinance through certified mail?
Yes,
She must have been within 200 feet of the I-2 zone.
exactly. You're within 200 feet.
200 feet
That
of,
property of that zone, of the I-2 zone.
of the I-2 zone?
Yeah, or
I-1 and 2 or I-3?
I-3, yes.
Was this ordinance also, with information regarding this public hearing, was that also sent to the mayor or the borough council of Manville?
Yes.
I believe so.
Also, and
Yep.
he was here, yes.
So they would have gotten it too, because this is something that one municipality or township cannot institute something in their area
Jurisdiction.
that can be detrimental to the adjoining. So that's why
I'm sure they're aware of it
they.
because they're sitting in the back.
Excuse me?
Yep.
I know they're aware of it because they're in the back. The mayor of Manville is sitting in the back of the room.
The mayor is back here?
Yeah, see him right there. So he's well aware.
I'm very happy to see that, because that is very important.
It
Because
is.
there are a lot of things going on in the Hillsborough Planning Board that would have been negatively impacting
Nope, we're very
Manville.
open.
Another thing
the law.
is, I had gone to the planning board meeting, Hillsborough Planning Board meeting on February 5th. And on the agenda, it says, just a minute, I'm sorry. Consideration of ordinances, and it's ordinance 2026-01.
That's this one.
Today, this public hearing is when you decide whether or not this ordinance is going to be approved, right?
Correct,
So right now, it's still not approved.
correct.
So why would that be on the planning board's agenda for consideration of ordinances?
Pursuant to the municipal land use law, any land development or zoning ordinance gets introduced first by the township committee, and then by statute, municipal land use law, it then needs to go to the planning board for a master plan consistency evaluation. And then they report back, as Mr. Coyce had actually given that report.
Because it really doesn't, it's not clear as far as that this is being, at the planning board, that this was being, that this wasn't, isn't an approved ordinance and needs to be approved by the governing body. How how does that go to the planning board before it's an approved ordinance?
Again, Ms. Janasek, I would just say that it's pursuant to statute. If you take a look at the ordinance itself, I put all those notice provisions in there. Those ordinance provisions that you see in the various sections are taken right directly from the statute, and it does indicate that it has to go to the planning board pursuant to the municipal land use law for a consistency evaluation. Again, all the ordinances such as this, they originate with the township committee, and that's an introduction, and then they need to go to the planning board for a master plan consistency evaluation, and then they come back to us for adoption.
So that, all right, thank you. So in regard to this ordinance, where it says here, small-scale storage and distribution, so that paragraph is underlined, so this is the new?
Correct.
Okay. So it's a use of no more than 25,000 square feet of gross floor area per building that is principally used for the storage of goods and materials with limited frequency of pickup and delivery, completely within an enclosed building. Do you have a little bit more specific wording other than limited frequency? What does that mean, limited frequency of pickup and delivery? What does that mean to one person versus to another person, limited frequency?
I don't believe that's defined anywhere. The only definition we have is what's set forth and you read it.
Isn't that very ambiguous? Shouldn't there be a little more clarification as to how often there can be a frequency of pickup and delivery?
Again, I can only refer you to the language. It says, the following sentence says, such facilities are characterized by low daily trip generation, infrequent truck traffic, and the absence of continuous shipping, receiving, or order fulfillment activities.
So who
Ms. Janusek?
who drafted this ordinance?
So, if I may, David did, but if I may, when they come to the planning board and any board of adjustments or anything like that, these are the questions that they're answered or asked of the builder or prospective buyer owner at that point also to understand the frequency, and then we would work to mitigate that.
But shouldn't the township have set guidelines on what could be permitted? It's because this is...
We do have guidelines of what's permitted. That is the ordinance for what's permitted. But as far as the frequency...
Guidelines as far as what the frequency would be of pickup and delivery. You know, somebody can come in and say they want to have 30, trips per day, and they think that that's okay. And then that creates problems with the township, and then creates an issue that has to go into litigation.
30 trips per day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 is very different than 30 trips a day, Monday through Friday.
Right, but
from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
You can say, I'm sorry, excuse me.
That's okay.
You can say that because that sounds right, but the developer can say.
But they have to come to us and those boards with
Right.
that information.
Right, and with something so ambiguous, they can then go to the courts and say, look, this is what we want, and it doesn't specify here.
Correct.
And then the next line, such facilities are characterized by low daily trip generation. What you may consider low daily trip, the developer is going to say, so the wording, I think, needs some more guidelines.
Ms. Janasek, what's considered low, what you might think is low, 1 to 2, 3 to 5? Who sets that number? So I
Exactly,
think-
so I'm saying if there
Can I
could-
finish? Thank you. So part of that, what you didn't read, trailer parking other than at the loading dock is prohibited, so there's no excess of trailer parking is prohibited. You're allowed 1 loading dock per 5,000 square feet. So the size and scale of the building is actually prohibitive to having large and frequent truck traffic. It's just not going to happen. You can't have 30 trips of a truck and trailer out on a 25,000 square foot loading dock with 1 loading dock and the ability that you can't stack rigs. So the restrictions that David has put in here has basically encapsulated restrictions that will prevent from a lot of truck traffic. And I think that you're going down a rabbit hole of who's going to count, how are we going to count, what's the What's the number? What isn't the number, right? If we could put 20, 19, 18, it really, that's almost impossible because there's nothing in language put anywhere in any ordinance that I know of, David, maybe you can correct me, that says you are allowed X number of trucks into your place in any application in this town. So that's not going to happen. So the ordinance is structured to create checks and balances to prevent large-scale or frequent truck traffic. So that's the answer. Okay?
Okay, Committeeman Lapani, when I said 30, I was being facetious because I know there wouldn't be 30. I'm just saying when
It really
people have
depends
a
on the business,
discussion.
though. It depends on the business, right? If you have a garden center, you're going to have little trucks in and out all day long, picking up mulch, picking up gravel, things like that, as someone does. So, or if you had an export business, you might have less pickups in that same window. What we are trying to avoid is a frequent stream of traffic, one, large oversized trucks, two, and again, when they come to the planning board, you've heard those conversations, Ms. Janusak. We're very, prideful in the questions that we ask the manufacturers, especially, of what are your business operating hours, right? We don't want them running all night long. We're very cognizant of when these businesses operate to mitigate that traffic.
But what you're saying right here, low daily trip generation, infrequent truck traffic. Yes, but shouldn't there be some kind of guidelines? Because what I'm saying is that it's.
Thank you. I understand your concern. We've answered the question over. I think Mr. Lapani's, Committeeman Lapani's comment was directly on point. The size of the facility itself, the fact that it only has one loading dock is what does it. If I put 20 in the ordinance, the size, you can't have more than 20 trips. Who's going to monitor if it was 25? Am I going to have an employee stand out there and say, and every single day, 365 days a year, and watch how many trucks go in and out? Oh, it was 25 today? It's impossible to enforce. So what is the enforcement mechanism? The size of the facility and the amount of loading docks. That's what generates it. The size of the facility, only 25,000 square feet, and only one loading dock. That's what gets us where we need to be.
So in these zones, the I-1, I-2, and I-3 light industrial, you can have how many facilities can there be? Like say in the I-1 zone, how big are the in general are the I-1 the zone that you could how many facilities could be in that zone? Where is the I-1, I-2, and I-3 zone?
They're all over town.
They're in different, you can take a look at our zoning map for exactly where they're located.
And some of them, and some of the.
That's online, isn't it?
Correct.
It's online. Our zoning map is online.
And some of the properties that are zoned I-1 or I-2 or I-3 are pretty big?
I mean, there's all different sizes of them, honestly.
So you could have several
There's not a lot,
facilities
just to be
versus
clear,
one
there's not a
facility
lot
that's
of
gonna just
new
have
space
trucks
in
coming and
those
going.
spaces. Am I wrong?
The what?
You're correct. The
Okay.
I-1, I-2, I-3 is mostly developed. There's very
So we're just, again,
little
saying
vacant
that if
land.
this building burned down it's an I-3 zone, right? And we're talking about the I-3 zone. If that building burned down, if there was a fire that took it down, they can't take it and put in one building beyond 25,000 square feet, beyond one bay per building. So that's what we're trying to limit here. What is existing is existing. I thought I wasn't wrong on that, but most of these spaces are already built out. What we're trying to avoid is like okay, let's just say I-3 has 300 acres. Now you're going to take, and there's going to be a fire. One of the buildings burns down, and now that fire leads us to a new rebuild. That rebuild cannot be the entire 300 acres. It's dramatic, folks, but I'm just saying. So this is what we're limiting. It's a 25,000 square foot footprint, one loading dock, and moderate traffic.
So what you said was if there's something in the I-3 zone that is bigger than 25,000 square feet and it burns down, then they can't
Cannot.
rebuild the size that was there before. They have to now go with what is.
Correct.
For this
being
particular
zoned.
use, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
For a small-scale storage and distribution facility.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing? Paul Candon, 24 Campbell. Thanks for the opportunity to talk. We touched on some of these, but I figured I'd just ask real quick.
Sure.
Hours of operation, is that something that would be determined if it came up before the planning board, or is that something that is written somewhere in the code?
Hours of operations do come up before the planning board. That's definitely one of the questions that we ask there.
Okay, so that's not something that you would put into,
An ordinance to
Yeah.
limit? No.
no. Okay, all right.
It's also case by case. you know.
Okay. The one principal use per site, is there a particular reason that that's being eliminated in this circumstance?
David?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So that was more of trying to clean up this ordinance and make it consistent with the rest of the code. So the code already allows multiple permitted uses on one lot. This was one of those zoning districts that had specific language about not allowing that. I believe through my research that basically that's because the I-1, I-2, I-3 has been around for a long time. And when the township took action to basically put in its design standards a set of standards that would apply to all the districts, it was just one of those things that might not have been caught at that time. So that was more cleaning that up and letting in the design standards the section about multiple permitted uses on one site, letting that govern so that it's very clear to the zoning official who's reviewing every application.
Yeah, okay. I mean, my concern is that this limits kind of like per building, but not necessarily per site. And so there's a potential for it to scale up because it's 20,000 feet per building, not per site, right? So there's a potential for someone to come in and build multiple buildings of that size.
Well, again, most of this land is already built out.
Yeah,
So we're just cleaning up the language a little bit to make it more concise in the event that, to your point, let's again argue that like there's a fire, things get burned down,
Yeah.
and now there's a rebuild. They still, yes, to your point, they could have more facilities, but they still wouldn't exceed 25,000 square feet for each.
yeah.
And also, if I may, Mayor.
Does that answer?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean,
Okay.
so the potential is there for someone to,
Have more buildings, not more space.
yeah.
Yes, that's that's
No,
that's what
no.
I'm trying to.
So
Go
I
on,
think-
David.
Yeah.
I think it would have to go through the planning board, and there's different restrictions on impervious land, so it's not like they can build out every
Yeah, right.
square inch. So I don't know if you want to.
Right.
Oh,
So
that
there's
part, yeah.
other limits here. And again, the limits I'm about to talk about are not being considered tonight because they already exist.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're talking setbacks, we're talking minimum lot size, we're talking maximum impervious coverage, plus just having to address stormwater if you're going to build a new building or put an addition on. Those are all limiting factors that would
With
contribute.
other ordinances
Right.
that we have in place.
Right.
Yeah, okay. All right. So issues like, let's say someone knocked down all the buildings on a site and built new, where loading docks would go and everything, that would be something to address, like.
Planning
for
board.
The planning
Yeah.
board when that proposal comes
So
up.
when you come, yeah, like they literally draw out like
Yeah,
a square,
yeah,
this is
I've-
what it's
I've
going to
been
look
to a
like.
number
I know you
somewhat.
have. So just for edification.
Yeah.
So there's a drawing, and then if that loading dock is facing towards the residential area, we might ask them, could you just turn the building and put it so it's facing internal to your property versus external to, like, we wouldn't want a loading dock facing a residential
Okay.
fence or
Yeah.
berm or.
Yeah. Okay, all right, so that's something you would address at that point, not necessarily in the ordinance that you're
Well,
considering now.
both, kind of,
Yeah.
because also, we do have ordinances that the planner was referencing. There's setback, it has to be set back a certain amount from your neighbors, from the road, from like all the things, right? So
Yeah.
there's other things. It can't be a super tall structure because there's limits on height. It can't be super impervious because we have stormwater issues. Like, There are other ordinances in place that cover other aspects of this. This was just to try and triangulate a little bit better about the industrial zones, how they look, how they feel, and that they're not going to be ever like overexposed, over imposing to our town.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I live by 236 Dukes, I know they're older buildings.
Yes,
I could
yes.
see a point where someone comes in, says, I can't use these buildings, I'm gonna start fresh.
Yes,
Um,
but they
and-
still have to be 25,000.
Yeah, but
Max.
they could do multiple buildings
They
still
absolutely
under this
could.
ordinance, yeah,
Yep.
okay,
But there has to be the right spacing and all the
Yeah,
things
right.
still.
okay.
Then, excuse me, Mayor, if I could just add
Yes,
one more thing to that. Our ordinance is very good at specifically stating that if a use is abutting a residential use, that there's additional standards that the applicant would have to address. Those are, certain types of buffers that have to be put in. Some of these buildings predate a lot of those requirements, as you know, in your situation, right? Which I'm also familiar with.
Yeah, I think you were at my house one day.
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me go on your deck.
Yeah, sure.
I was able to see the neighbor's property better. So yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from, but our ordinance is very good at addressing those, and the mayor's correct. Site by site, as someone's coming and putting on new development, those types of things would be addressed by the planning board.
Yeah, okay, so you don't anticipate this opening up a flood of new
No.
use or
No,
new
no.
activity, or that doesn't currently exist?
No, essentially, every building that is constructed, unless it predated site plan requirements, has a site plan. And every site plan has hours of operations and different standards that are on there. In your situation, we're able to pull out a site plan from the late 70s and 80s and find those hours on there and find the buffers and the requirements that were law back then, and we're able to do enforcement based on that. So yes, our ordinance is, and again, what the Township Committee is considering is bolstering the ordinance, and by allowing these uses, it's also taking into consideration standards to help manage it responsibly.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Anyone else from the floor? Come on.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Mike Cullinane. I live at 12 Dickerson Road in Hillsborough. I'm Paul's neighbor. I'd like to just go back to the truck traffic topic, just as a point of clarification for
Sure.
myself. So my understanding is we're trying to limit the traffic within business hours
Yes.
in these, okay. And
I mean, typically, it depends on the business, right? Some of them run overnight.
And the ordinance is pretty clear about that. So I do have a specific situation where off hours on our street, Dickerson Road, if you're not familiar with it, it's a single access road, right? So,
Right.
so on our street, on one of the businesses, had a delivery truck, a full semi, parked. And it was a cloudy, foggy night, and they were on the bend, and it was kind of unsafe, so that annoyed me. So the next morning, I'm walking the dog, and he left. When I came back, I went out, he left. Next morning, I'm walking my dog, and there's a truck parked on the street, off hours.
Okay.
So I said, okay. I went and came down and visited the Hillsborough Police Department, and I spoke to a nice corporal there, the traffic officer, and he said, I honestly can't help you because there's no ordinance that I know of. So that was the answer I received.
So
He did
can I ask
cooperate.
questions?
Yes, sure.
The trailer was on the road?
Yeah.
And was it one of your neighbors, or was it to a
No, it
business?
was a delivery to one of the businesses. I don't want to name them.
It was making a delivery.
He was waiting there.
Okay,
Yeah.
to make a delivery.
Yeah. So, I mean, the officer did agree with me that, he wasn't aware of an ordinance. So I said, well, you know, it's one thing to be a good neighbor, right? I have another business on the street, and he actually asked me what it would take to be a good neighbor, and I told him.
Right.
And we, you know, we have traffic issues that are mitigated. So he did agree to go talk to the gentleman and say, you know, go find another place to park these trucks.
Yeah. Did they?
So off hours, I haven't witnessed that
Okay.
since.
Okay.
That was like in
So
the
this was
fall.
isolated 2 situations?
But however, during business hours, they are on the street
Okay.
because he's a one-bay facility. So
In queue?
yeah,
Okay.
sometimes two,
So
waiting on the
There's
street.
a man in the back corner I think
Yeah.
you should speak with.
I know. So I mean, it happens.
It does.
Yeah,
And
so
these are, you know, listen, we ask a million questions when they come to the planning board or board of adjustments. When we're talking about a new business that's coming into town, like we do try to vet as much as we can.
Yeah.
And then we need help sometimes when things don't go as
Sure.
planned, right? And you can say anything you want to the planning board when you're there. The execution of those things, to your point, it's not a frequent occurrence, thankfully, but it does occur, that hopefully these are anomalies with the business. Nonetheless, we do want to keep our residents abreast of those kinds of situations and abate them where we can. So I would love for you to speak with our chief and explain to him exactly your
yeah, and
situation.
maybe the mayor of Manville too. He could probably help out.
Well, is it Manville or is it Hillsborough?
No, it's Hillsborough.
Oh, okay.
But you know, the idea I shared
yell
with
at
the,
Joe. It's
with
fine.
the officer was, look, this, you know, these trucks don't have to wait here. There's right across the street in Manville. There's Gerber Field, and there's a big parking space over there. Just wait over there.
Right.
And then
Well, if they're not familiar, they may not know, but neither here nor there.
the guy lives in my neighborhood, he could be
He
a good
knows.
neighbor. That's all
Yes,
I'm saying.
I agree.
Right? So
We all should be
so
good
the
neighbors.
officer did agree to go talk to the business owner.
Pardon me, Mayor, if I may. I just wanted to emphasize, if this vehicle is associated with a business, it could potentially be a site plan concern. So if you do have a site plan concern, then please send it to our zoning official in my office, and that's something that they could look at. Because there might be things going on that site, the circulation, the parking lot, the loading areas, that when they got permission to build that building through the planning board or whichever board they might have gone, there's most likely enough on the record for us to be able to look at that. And even though it's a public street, and my understanding is that there's no restrictions during the day, that there are restrictions for overnight commercial parking is my understanding.
Correct.
But not during the day. But if it is associated with a business, please send that complaint to my office and we will investigate it.
All right,
Can you do me
thank
a
you.
favor? Can you take my pen and this piece of paper and write down that address for us?
Okay.
And then bring it, I'll get you before the end. Okay, thank you.
5 Dickerson.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know who it is, right?
Do you know who?
I've been here a while.
Mm-hmm. But you know who?
Yes.
Okay. And still touch. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
And then you can,
Thank you very much.
Joe? Oh, yeah, you guys can go if you want to, too. Joe? Yes.
I was going to say, the employees have to go.
falling asleep.
The
I know,
employees
he's
have to
like
go to
falling
work, but
asleep
the
in
little
the
guy
front
has to go
line.
to
I
bed.
know, I'm sorry, honey.
Trooper.
This is boring
No,
adult
what
stuff.
a trooper. He's sitting in
Yeah,
the front.
sorry.
He's listening too. Good for him.
Kelly, if you guys want to go too, you can. Yeah. Yeah.
But we do appreciate all the questions from
it's
the
great.
residents. We
Are there
Absolutely.
appreciate
anybody
the
else
passion
with
and
questions from the floor?
interest
Come on up.
you have in our town, so thank you.
It is, Kev.
Hi, Philip Evangelista, 25 Grouse Road. First time being here, so I appreciate everybody's patience with what might be some dumb questions as
No
I
dumb
lean
questions.
into this a little bit.
Yep.
So I keep hearing a lot of good things. I think what I'm hearing, and it makes a lot of sense, is that it's pretty proactive in protecting what already exists, which makes a lot of sense,
Yes.
especially if a fire comes through.
Thank you.
I totally buy that. But Mayor, you did just say that people will come up in front of the planning board and say whatever they can to get it done. So how can we potentially work in, and again, this is where the ignorance comes in, but
Yep.
like, how can we be specific with what we don't want to allow? So that gentleman came up and said things like data centers, understand that they need to be much bigger today. Who knows what that's gonna be like 5-10 years from now when tech gets more efficient, smaller, et cetera, or ICE, right? Like that's happening as well. So how can we be more specific in what is allowed versus not allowed both on the short term and long term, knowing that this is a proactive engagement.
Yeah, so we have a lot of different ordinance.
I defer to you, Mayor.
So, thank you so much. I was asked a question, I'm just trying to answer. So, you're right, they can say anything you want, but as our planner just mentioned also, we circle back with these businesses quite frequently. There's, the administrator also mentioned, there's fire inspections, there's police inspections, there's health inspections, there's all these different things that have to occur. So there is a compliance structure in place with all of our other ordinances that we are very like full-bodied. So yeah, you come up to me and say, oh, it's absolutely not a data center, and it's absolutely not going to be, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., right? Okay, terrific. Well, Sally, your next door neighbor, is absolutely going to call the police when you are 7 to 7 and she can't get into her driveway in the middle of the night or whatever, right? And then the light is too bright, the building is too loud, whatever's going on, we're going to hear about it that way. But all of these ordinances are in place. This is one piece of the ordinances that regulate what can and can't happen. And now I will let the planner. Anything I missed?
Thank you, Mayor. So just to add to that, and thank you for coming here, and thank you for
Yes.
asking these questions. This is a good thing. So in our code, essentially what it says is anything that's not expressly permitted is prohibited. So we do have a zone that does permit a data center. But so therefore, in that district, it's expressly permitted. When you look at other districts like the I-1, I-2, I-3, it's not listed, so it's prohibited. So it's very, very clear to my office, to our zoning official, when we're reviewing those things on what's permitted and not permitted. Best practice is to have uses that are defined. That hasn't always been the case. We have uses that are just generally interpreted as what they might be by the common meaning. That becomes challenging over time when industries change and transform. And so now what we're trying to do, and even through the master plan process, is to go into some of those definitions and be very clear and try to make sure that it's consistent with the master plan by being cognizant that these districts are adjoining residential districts in certain situations, and making sure that the standards are going to be applicable to trying to help, protect those residential areas. And this ordinance, in my opinion, as the township's planner, is a step in that direction to making sure that there's uses that are already permitted and already operating there as non-conforming. This is to make sure that we could go forward and keep allowing those, and to make sure as well that the area is to be protected. Because at the end of the day, land use, it's trying to protect the general health, safety, and welfare of the community. That's the intent. That's the purpose. And if I may add one more thing, if anyone here, if you see something and you don't believe that it's a use that's permitted, again, it comes down to enforcement.
That's how we find out about massage parlors and
Right.
things like that. Even on a smaller, much smaller scale, like that's how, somebody went in and bought a THC e-cigarette versus a regular, all the things. See something, say something is very real in Hillsborough.
And that's part of what my office does. My office goes and makes sure and responds to calls, and to make sure, working with other partners, throughout the township, other departments, and making sure that all the uses that are taking place are permitted.
Awesome, thank you. And then I think I've heard a couple of times that most of this land is built out. How much is left to build, like in terms of like square footage? Like how many of the 25,000 plots do we think is like remaining, I suppose?
No. So I'm going to reframe your question just a little bit. So it's not that each plot has to be 25,000 square feet.
It's up to, right?
Up to now. So I think what you're asking is, of these zones, how many of them is buildable to the capacity of 25,000? Yes?
Yes.
Sorry.
That information
Absolutely
I do not have, but I just wanted to give an example. Is there's other uses that could be taking place in these buildings. So when it comes to this use, it's the space in which that use is occupying. It's not to stop that building from having other tenants that have other very common uses like contractor facilities or things like that. You know, this is specifically targeted and have these limitations specifically to this use.
And I guess, again, and you kind of hinted at it, where it feels like a little bit of a circuitous argument where it's like, well, if it's not explicitly written, then it's not permitted. Then why can't we, so I guess, what if they do end up taking it to court? And I see your attorney, so I work in data and analytics, so just bear with me here. And they're like, well, it's not explicitly written. Where in the ordinance is it that if it's not written, it's explicitly outlawed, I guess, for lack of a better term?
There's an express provision in the code that says if
One-
it's not expressly
yeah.
permitted, it's prohibited.
18897A, I believe.
Thank you.
Please fact check me.
That was very distinct, so I
I'll just say there's a provision in the code. I don't know if it's that one, but that's pretty good if you got it.
Okay, and then the last thing, and this is like a really very specific question. Everybody kept saying it was only be one loading dock, but in theory, if it was the 25K full, it'd be 5 loading docks.
Correct.
If I read it as correct,
Mhm.
which I guess, just in general, right? Like I understand that there are multiple layers that ensure that operating hours, the infrequent visitors of trucks and movement, as was mentioned before. Longer term, we were talking about salt, road care, important. How do we make sure that as this expands potentially, we're making sure that the cost of maintaining roads, which I will say, that stretch of 206 that's been under construction for the 10 years I've been living here, it's still beating the crap out of my Subaru. How do we make sure that we're going to continue to make sure that these roads are up to standards that don't make my car break every year?
So we do that too. So, I mean, we have
We invest in your roads every year.
206, yeah, 206 we wish we had more control over. But as far as the other roads and when there are like, in these areas and things, again, these areas are mostly built out. We're not looking to have like some expansive new, and if you looked at the map that's on the website and you overlaid it with like a Google map, you'd be able to see that these are pretty full industrial areas. Again, the intent of this is not to increase building of them or truckload or anything else like that. So pretty much what we have is what we have, right? To the road point, we're doing the best we can to catch up with that. So bear with us. But we're getting there. And by the way, I just want you to know, thank you so much for coming up. And your questions, they're not stupid because there's 45,000 people in this town, and I guarantee you at least 100 of them have every question that you guys all answered tonight or asked of us tonight. So it's hugely helpful. That's why we have Q&A.
Yep.
We want to have your feedback. We want to make it clear for everyone. We're not trying to like, oh, look over here, shiny thing. We want this engagement. So thank you for coming up. Did you have anything else?
One last question.
Sure.
Explicitly, because it's not explicitly written, I think the gentleman back there brought up a good point. No ice in these potential spaces.
They're really tiny. Like, I know that 25,000 square feet sounds huge, but it's certainly not big enough for inhabitants. And
I just worry, given what we see.
so I think you would be more looking towards the 400,000 square foot building that was built out in Raritan Township. That's already zoned for industrial. They already have an industrial customer. I'm just saying, like, these are hundreds of thousands of square feet. This is much, much too small.
So I will ask, so I think it's a great question. So I'm going to turn to David, not to put you on the spot, Mr. Coyce, but from a conforming use, if ICE being a government, agency were to come in, is that a conforming use and does that matter?
Well, I could answer the first part.
Okay.
The first part, we would look at it and we would look at the zone and see if that zone permits it. And we would make a decision on it. And to the best of my understanding, none of our industrial districts and none of our zoning districts throughout the entire town permit detention facilities. The next thing we would look at New Jersey law and try to see if there's anything specifically in the municipal land use law that would say it, or if there's any other state regulation. And if it comes down to looking at federal law, that's when we start to defer to our attorneys to assist us in that. But essentially, there's a saying that goes amongst zoning officials is to doubt is to deny. So you do your homework and you understand it the best you can, you protect the township. And if you deny it, you deny it. And then there's options for the applicant to then appeal your decision.
I appreciate the specificity. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else? Come on.
Tom Sulich, 161 Johansson. A few quick questions for clarification. So the lawsuit settlement was strictly for buildings that are currently built?
The lawsuit settlement for this particular claim is this exact ordinance.
Okay, so that's it. It's not for any future planning?
No, not for, now, there was more than one litigant. We had 6, I think, different litigants. So this particular litigant, no, it's just this particular ordinance, that's it.
Okay.
Sorry, if I could I just wanted to make clear, though, what the ordinance does allow. Like, let's say there is vacant land, and someone wanted to come in and build according to this ordinance, it would allow it. But the way I also heard your question, as it related to the specific litigation, the specific litigation was to existing buildings. But what this ordinance can do, not that there's a lot of vacant land left in I-1, I-2, I-3, but this would apply to it if someone wanted to develop it.
Sure. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, see if it was a current lawsuit or not. Second question, the letters that was sent out by certified mail, did that go to everybody that was in I-1, I-2, and I-3 zone?
And 200 feet from, yes.
Yeah, okay. Last question is, if somebody were to build more than one 25,000-foot building, how far apart would they have to be?
They can't. I'm sorry, more than one?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking congruent in my brain. I'm sorry, I'm tired. I mean, essentially, it goes to the other ordinances that we talked about, right? So there has to be the proper spacing and
So
easements and things like that.
They couldn't be right next to each other, like a couple feet apart, right?
Our ordinance doesn't specifically address how close the buildings are, not this particular ordinance, I don't believe. But there's building code. You start to run into building code issues. If the buildings are too close, you have to make sure that the walls are fire rated and things like that. These are all things that cost more money, and these are things that would essentially limit development. But again, the bulk standards that are already in the zone, those are there to help regulate and address these things.
Okay, great. That's all my questions. Thank you.
And like fire
Thank you.
trucks have to be able to get around
Exactly.
them,
That's
like
right.
all the things. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Anyone else? Okay. May I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing and adopt ordinance 2026-1?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeeman Britting.
Yes, and thank you, David Coyce, for protecting Hillsborough from massive warehouses and lots of trucks. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Can you pass that to
Thank you.
Committeewoman Gomez.
Yes.
Committeewoman Hand.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Thank you to all who came. Yes.
And Mayor Payne.
Yes, thank you so much. Introduction of new ordinances, 2026-2, ordinance amending salary range, ordinance of the Township of Hillsborough to set forth the salary ranges for the positions set forth in said ordinance. Further consideration and public hearing to be held on March 24th, 2026. Further consideration and public hearing on March 24th, 2026.
Oh, it says that twice, sorry.
What?
It said that twice, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. May I have a motion and a second to introduce ordinance 2026-2?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Britting.
Yes.
Committeewoman Gomez.
Yes.
Committeewoman Hand.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Yes.
Mayor Payne.
Yes. Claims list. May I have a motion and a second to approve claims list 2026-04? Is this moot now that we can't pay certain bills?
I would think that anything you put on the bill list was probably already approved, but I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
We should.
so we can't.
I think we should approve to pay it, but, I mean, if we can't, then we
Well,
have
we
to come
can't.
back.
So we already have.
I mean,
like,
I don't
people
know
not
if he's
getting
got on the
paid.
bill list. Does he have police and fire retirement
Aren't getting
system
paid now.
payments? Does he have
Do we have a list of the
public
claims?
employees retirement system payments? If he has those if he has those listed there,
Do we have a list of the claims?
might be a problem. Also, snow removal. He increased the snow removal counts.
So we can't pay people or pensions or the snow removal. Okay, I just
any-
wanted to make sure what we're,
Anything that exceeds his budget appropriations, and he might have calculated that in there. So you also got snow removal because we've had the storms, and you spent more money in snow removal than anticipated.
right.
How about the salt
So-
that we just voted on as well?
hang on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And
I
the
had
other-
gone
and the
through
other thing
the
is with
claims
this-
list. I don't believe any of that was on the claims list, and I think that if we are going to do an emergency appropriation, which has the word
You've
emergency
stated your
in
path.
it,
Thank you for
then
that.
it should be
Clerk, can I please
specific
have the
bills
claims list
that
details?
are due.
Hold on.
Excuse me.
Okay.
It should be specific bills that are due. I had a very detailed conversation with the CFO. Not all of
Thank you,
what was in the
Committeewoman Hand.
emergency appropriations were bills that were being paid.
Committeewoman Hand.
So, there we go.
Thank you. Okay.
It's $562,000.
Yeah, so this is 29 pages.
Not touchscreen.
Yep. Okay, so this is phone bill. Gosh. Animal control, salt.
So, I'm sorry, just to refocus, I
I'm
don't
talking.
believe we have any evidence that what is on the claims list had anything to do with the emergency appropriations. And I believe that anytime something financial is on, we should have our CFO here if nobody here can answer the question.
We are answering the question, and I'm reading it right now. So this is the, I'm reading only the bigger ones. So we have labor for the doors. We have the snow event. We have battery pack wall chargers for the flock safety.
So Mayor, I have a question for you. Do you believe that all of our accounts are at zero and none of the bills can be paid?
Well, I'm just saying that we didn't approve the budget to pay our bills, and now we have a
That
claims
is
list.
incorrect.
No, it is correct.
It is not correct.
It is absolutely correct.
It is not. That was an
And now
emergency.
we
So you're
have-
saying that it is February 24th and we've spent $13 million? Is that what I am to believe? Because, by the way, if it is February 24th and we've spent all $13 million that was already in the temporary budget, we have a problem.
That's
And
not-
we should look at the management of the town.
That's
because
not how it
that is a
works.
problem.
That's
This
not
is
how it
an
works.
emergency
Not
appropriation.
at all how it works.
It works by line item.
So, yeah. Yep, that's how that works. Every year, it's the same. That's exactly how it works. Every year, it's the same. So there's $562,210 for the claims list. So how do we want to work this? Do we want to postpone?
May I suggest that you vote on the claims list and approve it subject to, there being sufficient funds in each of those line items? And that's for the
Right.
CFO to determine.
Yeah, and in all fairness to the CFO, the claims list was out on Friday. We probably should have asked him prior to that. And I have to also make sure that all these pension payments and insurance payments and everything else, by law, that we're meeting the deadline, or we're going to be in trouble, that you guys just voted no before. So we need to talk to CFO, because this is not good.
And we have a meeting in 2 weeks, so I would assume that we would have that information, Administrator.
Well, I'll have it a lot before 2 weeks. And like I said, if
I'm
these
just saying we have a
questions...
meeting in 2 weeks.
If it's a
questions
problem,
would
you
have-
could also schedule a special meeting on
We might
48
have
hours'
to.
notice.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
you might have to.
All right, so motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Comments?
Are there any comments from the dais? Other than what we've already had? Are there comments from the floor on the claims list? Roll call.
Committeeman Britting?
Yes.
Committeewoman Gomez?
Yes.
Committeewoman Hand?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani?
Yes.
I don't know.
Mayor
Yes.
Payne?
Yes. New business, there's none. Public comments from on meeting, matters not on the agenda. I will now open the meeting to comments from the floor. Please keep in mind this is for comments on matters not on the agenda. Ms. Brake, please read the statement regarding public comment.
The Township Committee now opens the floor for public comment. To ensure a productive and civil environment for all, please approach the microphone, state your name and address, and spell your name for the record. The Township of Hillsborough maintains a strict standard of decorum. Please ensure your remarks remain respectful and focused on township business. Each speaker is limited to a single 3-minute allotment. This forum for public comment rather than a dialogue. Please address all remarks directly to the mayor. We thank you in advance for your cooperation and for treating your neighbors, township employees, and this committee with courtesy.
Comments from the floor? Come on.
Maria Janusic, Janucik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. Hillsborough has a shared municipal court with Montgomery, Manville, and Branchburg. I was at a Manville Borough meeting, and I asked about what kind of reports are given to Manville in regard to the Manville Municipal Court, and how much money Manville gets from fines and DUIs or whatever. And the answer was that no report is given. I know that Manville paid over $100,000 towards the municipal court to Hillsborough, and I don't know why more information isn't being given to Manville, and I was also wondering if any reports are being given to Branchburg and Montgomery as well. So that's something that I would appreciate if it's looked into. I think they had mentioned in Manville that that's something that was going to be requested from Hillsborough to get those reports.
Thank you.
My other issue is my property is on Champlain Road, Block 86, Lot 3, and there's a property that's called the Sherman Tract, which is supposed to have, which had been subdivided. Affordable housing was put on one section, Block 86, Lot 21.01, and then the other portion of the Sherman Tract, Block 86, Lot 21.02, is also supposed to be having affordable housing built on it, but it's owned by Hillsborough, and nothing's being said about it, and I don't know what's going on with that. And so, being that that's something that would impact my property, I would like to know what's going on with Hillsborough, with that property, and whether that property is going to be sold to the developer, M&M Realty. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Come on. Hi, Mayor.
Good evening, Mayor, committee members. Richard Onderko, 325 North Main Street, Manville, New Jersey. I'm here tonight speaking as the mayor of my community, not just as a resident, but I am a lifelong member of the borough of Manville, and I'm very proud to say I'm from Manville. I want to ask a question about public safety, because that, to me, is my #1 priority when it comes to protecting my residents. There's an intersection that's really close to my town. It's the intersection of Sunnymead and West Champlain Road and Old Champlain Road. And I was told, or I heard through the grapevine, that a traffic light is planned, long overdue. Okay, so what's the latest with the traffic light? When will it be installed? Does anyone know?
This is not a question and answer, it's a comment only, but we can definitely meet mayor to mayor.
Okay, there's been too many accidents at that location.
Agreed.
I would hope that the committee can take some immediate action. In other intersections in Hillsborough, I noticed flashing stop signs. It would greatly improve the safety at that intersection. Because at night, you really can't see those stop signs. And with all the development that's gone on with new people in the area, people aren't familiar with the traffic patterns. And I don't want to see a fatality happen, but eventually something's going to happen there where it's not going to be good. So if someone can get back to me as to when the traffic light is planned, because I know how government works. It took 10 years for my main street to be reconfigured. And in those 10 years, 5 of those years, 644 accidents, 19 pedestrians were struck, and 3 were fatal. It should have been addressed immediately. So I would like to see that light go in this year. So let me know. I know we have a representative here from our assembly. Let's move forward. Let's protect the residents, because a lot of people that have accidents there live in my town.
Right.
So, thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Committeeman Britting?
Yes.
Committeewoman Gomez?
Yes.
Committeewoman Hand?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani?
Yes.
Mayor Payne?
Yes. Thank you. Good night, everybody.